Ciao! Welcome to Delicious Italian. Today what I'd like to show you how to make is pizza dough. Now I have all of the ingredients we need in front of me here. Let's talk about our flour. So today I'm using all-purpose flour. It's readily available and it does a really great job making a nice pizza dough for your pizza. I have used other flours, bread flour, combination of bread flour and all-purpose, doppio zero or 00 flour from Italy. They all do a fine job, but sometimes all-purpose flour is all you might have on hand. Go ahead and use that. It'll make a nice tender dough. All right, so I have also some sugar here, salt, my active dry yeast, and 2/3 of a cup of warm water, which is at about 106 degrees, and extra virgin olive oil. To begin, I'm going to add my yeast to my warm water, and I just use a regular teaspoon, and I'm going to put in a level spoonful right on my water there. And to that, I'm going to add just like a half of this spoonful of sugar, and this sugar is going to feed our yeast. All right, so we'll let that just sit a moment and make sure it gets nice and bubbly. In the meantime, we can add our other ingredients to the bowl. Now, I'm going to add our flour. I'm just gonna kind of lighten the flour a little bit. I need 2½ cups here, just like that. You don't need to level it off or do any of that really precise measuring here. There's 2, and then I'm going to just take about a half. There we go. Okay, now to my bowl, I want to add my salt. I don't want this salt to touch that yeast because it could deactivate the yeast or kill the yeast. The sugar is feeding the yeast. I don't want to kill it with the salt. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt to this, just about like that, right to my flour. And I'm just going to bring up my bowl here and mix up that flour and salt around a little bit. There we go. I'm going to add a tablespoon, and that's an eyeball tablespoon, right into the bowl on that flour, and I can just spin that around a little bit to get it going. And I want to be sure that my yeast is getting bubbly and active, and it is, and you can tell it starts getting really milky looking and a little bit bubbly on top or around the edges. I've been using my yeast and I know that it's fresh and good, so I'm going to add it right into my bowl here. And we're just going to bring that together. It comes together pretty quickly. All right, I think you could see that our dough is coming together nicely. I'm just going to let that process there for a little bit more. This is mimicking the kneading. We don't really need to knead this by hand. All right, so our dough is ready. I think you could see that we have a very soft, very smooth dough, which is exactly what you want. Now this dough is going to need to rest a little bit, so I'm going to put it into this oiled bowl. It'll take maybe an hour or so. It needs to double in size, and then I will show you what it looks like. Now what I've done is I've preheated my oven for just a couple of minutes just to make it a nice warm cozy environment for our dough to rise in. So I'm going to pop it into the oven right now, and then I'll show you what it looks like in a little bit. All right, let's take a look at our dough. Well, we've got our dough here. It has doubled in size. It's really soft and really smooth, and it's a lovely dough. Now at this point, what you would need to do is to portion this dough. Now it really depends on what you're going to do with it. So if you want to make a couple of pretty nice sized pizzas, you could do that by cutting it in half. Perhaps you'd want to make smaller pizzas, and you can make it into smaller little balls to then roll out. So the way this has to go is you roll your portions into little portions of dough like this. Just tuck the ends under into the center of the bottom of the dough. Just kind of push it underneath there, and then you could put it on the board and you can kind of just smooth it around like that. Or you could make a larger one by doing it the same way, just tucking the ends under and pushing them together into a nice smooth ball. And then that could go on the board. Now, these need to rest again. They right now have been manipulated, so they're tight again. You want it to rest so that the glutens can relax, and you will easily be able to either push out a pizza by hand or roll it out by with a rolling pin. Either way is fine. I'll show you that in a little bit, but this does need to rest. So we'll just cover it with our towel and come back to it. All right, let's take a look at our pizza dough. All right, it's been resting for about 30 minutes. It's nice and soft and ready to be rolled out. All right, so to roll your pizza, the first thing you want to do, I'm going to get these out of our way, put them onto this board here. The first thing you want to do when you're going to roll out a pizza is kind of just roll it through your fingers like this, turning it as you go, and then pressing it out like this. It just gets it going, gives you a good head start on the rolling. Now, if you wanted to use the rolling pin, you could. I do prefer rolling or pressing out my dough. Pressing out my dough, or even throwing my dough, tossing my dough. I'm not going to show you that today, but taking it over my hands like this and just stretching it gently, and then pressing some more until you get it to the desired size. Now, if you find that your dough is springing back, perhaps you would want it to rest a little longer, but I could just let this rest here if I felt like it were springing back. It's fine. I don't feel that way, so I'll just continue stretching my dough and just going over my hands and gently stretching it out. I have dusting of flour all over me now, but that's part of the process, part of the fun. And pick it up again and just stretch it out. There we go. I think that is about the thickness I want. And then at the point that I have it where I want it, I could just put it directly onto my pizza peel. I could just lift it right onto this pizza peel. Now, when you do this, you can either use semolina, or which will make it stay really loose on your pizza peel, or flour. Either way, what you want to be sure is that your pizza will move. If this pizza doesn't move on your board, on your pizza peel, you're not going to get it into your oven. So I would recommend that you cook this on a pizza stone or a bread stone, preheated in your oven at probably 500 degrees. You could dress a pizza like this any way you like, but the important thing that I want to tell you about today is that you have plenty of flour on here so that your pizza will actually make it to the oven. If it doesn't make it to that stone, you're not going to have pizza. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll tune in again. Buon appetito.